talks about the blacks of America against the racial segregation and Martin Luther King's dream. That is the dream of black population to obtain freedom, civil and political rights. I have structured my paper with an introduction, two chapters, and the conclusion. Before the introduction, I have report the poetry, Martin Luther King's poetry, I Have a Dream, because I think that is the symbol of this kind of fight. I must say that from age to age the human being had advocated the white supremacy in social, civil and political sectors of life. So the racism had originated with the term race. So in the history, with the term race, we can indicate the stock. In fact, in the books of martyrdoms, he's talking about the stock and the race of Abraham. And then in the history, this term was developed for the black slaves that was considered not like a human being, but like a beast that must work, was ill-used, and was humble in some kind of forms. From the racism had originated the racial segregation in the USA, because the USA had a very important past of racism and not civil and political rights for this kind of population. I think that racial segregation is a kind of policy, a political line that sign a separation, a restriction of civil and political laws between whites and black people. There were and there are nowadays in America some groups organized for terrorism, to spread death, cruelty, and in the past this cruelty was spread against black people to not give civil and political rights, so freedom and an equal kind of life for this population. The most important period of American history about racism is the 60s, because during 15th and 60s was born the movement, association, group organized to fight for this dream, to obtain the freedom and the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act was signed by President Johnson, and with this act the Congress emanates some kind of laws to obtain equal laws and an equal level of life for whites and black, to put the end of these white supremacies. And I think that one of the most important figures of this period is Martin Luther King, because with his action he signed the passive resistance, and he learned this form of struggle by Gandhi's work. In fact, during these years in the USA, people, in particular young people, the American youth, fight with sit-in, that is a particular form of passive resistance. In fact, some people stay for one day in the store, in the supermarket, and do nothing to fight this discrimination. So was born the sit-in, and another shape to fight the segregation, the racial segregation, was the march. One of the most important march was Washington 1, that took place in Washington DC on the 28th of August 1963, and united a lot of people, white, black, movements, association, singers, ministers, to fight together against this kind of discrimination. And I think that the aim of this long fight is to obtain what Martin Luther King said, the dream of brotherhood, to demonstrate that all the humans are equal because we are created equal. So